You know, we are living in what I would consider to be bizarro world. Everything is upside down, everything is backwards, and nothing is what it seems. And it's only April. We're not even done with April in this current year. Yeah, it's going to be a wild one. The thing is, though, we've been watching incredibly diligently what's been happening with Xbox the past 8 to 12 months, especially from last year to this year. And things have been not so good. You see, Xbox did a lot of crazy decisions. They raised the price of Game Pass by 50%, jacking the price up all the way to $29.99 per month, all at the same time not giving you any true value for what you're in fact paying for every single time. It got so bad, actually, that people were in fact mass canceling Game Pass, and even Google had a massive trend line showing how to cancel Game Pass on its actual Google searches, which really doesn't bode well overall. It got even crazier, though, when we found out that Asha Sharma is going to be replacing Phil Spencer as he's going to be retiring, and Sarah Bond was unceremoniously basically kicked out of her position over at Microsoft and Xbox as well. Now, with all of that happening in the past, many others, and even myself included, were incredibly skeptical about what Asha Sharma was going to be doing with Xbox in the first place, making her the new CEO of Microsoft Gaming, somebody who has no track record in video games, and also was working with AI, and Microsoft really didn't bode well for what we were expecting in the future. But things are a-changing, and it looks like Asha Sharma has been on a bit of a warpath lately. She removed the entire This Is an Xbox campaign. Even though I personally like that idea and it made a lot of sense to me, a lot of people didn't like that campaign in the first place because they felt that it diminished the actual console and the brand on its own. To make matters even crazier, she then announced Project Helix, the next console PC hybrid coming out from Microsoft and Xbox. I guess that's going to put away the rumors of them leaving the gaming space as an actual hardware manufacturer and being only a third-party publisher. Well, at least for another generation at least. Then she brought back Xbox Fan Fest, and now she apparently did the unthinkable. She's touching Game Pass, and it could possibly even be for the better. But before we get into that, Asha Sharma was also doing something in the background that many people were not expecting, and this may be even bigger than what happened yesterday. According to Windows Central Gaming, Xbox has filled a major new comms role, suggesting a potential shift in PR strategy to, quote, protect and elevate the brand. Now, even though this piece of news was brushed away effectively after what happened yesterday as well, which we'll touch on in just a moment, I feel that this is actually the most important thing that Asha Sharma has done in her position so far. You see, Xbox has always had a massive problem, and it's always been marketing and communication towards the player. These two issues were always the things that were screwing everything up. Every time they tried to say something, it always backfired. Look at what happened with the price increase of Xbox Game Pass. Literally, nobody liked it. And basically every other time, Xbox would say one thing and then effectively do something else entirely. It's almost like the left hand didn't know what the right hand was doing. And for some reason, it always felt like Microsoft and Xbox were always at odds with each other every single time, especially when Phil Spencer was there. And I think this new role that Asha Sharma has now filled recently is exactly what Microsoft in fact needs. Clear, concise communication with the ability to go ahead and say, hey, look, here's what you can expect from us, here's how we're going to do it, and then execute on that thing specifically. Making sure marketing is done correctly, making sure that people are aware of what's going on, and that no major issues happen like what we saw previously in Xbox's life. Never forget the entire E3 campaign all about TV. Oh, and also not even owning your actual physical games, which is really what screwed them over in the first place and why everybody went to the PlayStation 4 and not the Xbox One. And shoving Kinect into everything too. Man, the damage that one guy can do, huh? Pretty crazy when you think about it. But pretty much this role is going to be incredibly pivotal, especially with their new console PC hybrid coming out within the next year or so, and all the massive changes happening in the background with Xbox. Making sure the person that was hired is going to effectively communicate properly and also provide good marketing will be a massive win for the company and the brand. The thing is, though, it looks like Asha Sharma is doing even more for Xbox as well. And you'll never believe what's going to be happening in 2026 when you do. Asha Sharma yesterday on Twitter said this: Game Pass Ultimate has become too expensive for too many players. Starting today, we're dropping the price from $29.99 to $22.99 per month. Future Call of Duty titles will no longer join Game Pass Ultimate on day one. They will join this tier the following holiday after launch, about a year later. Current Call of Duty titles will remain available to Ultimate subscribers. We'll keep learning and evolving Game Pass to better match what matters to players. Hold on, we gotta stop right here. You're telling me that in 2026, we're not having a price increase, but a price decrease after everything that's been going on, after this entire debacle? This is what we're dealing with right now, and they're gonna be removing Call of Duty from Game Pass Ultimate? You know what? Get rid of it. Get rid of it. That's fine. Get it out of there. Get it out of there, because you know what? What people want out of Game Pass is actual value. And if the way that they can provide value is by removing COD from Game Pass, then go ahead and make that sacrificial lamb. Honestly, I haven't liked COD in a very long time, probably since Modern Warfare 2, maybe 3, and that's back in the 360 era. And by the way things are looking, a lot of people haven't either. And you can clearly see it from the fact that every time a new COD does come out, it's always the same thing. Great new COD coming. Oh, never mind. It actually sucks. I'm only going to play it for a month and then play something else or just play the multiplayer online, and that's pretty much it. And you get the same complaint every 12 months over and over again. One of my biggest questions is basically this: how is Asha Sharma basically walking in after just a few months of being in this role and basically just doing all the right things for Xbox in the first place? Having the achievement system basically being completely redone and refreshed for everybody, all the other features we talked about previously as well, in just a short amount of time. It really makes me stop and ask the question, what was Phil Spencer and even Sarah Bond doing when they were working at Xbox? When these are things that somebody who's just walking in from a different perspective and seeing what could be happening to increase users in the first place. And it really begs the question, did we actually need a price increase for Game Pass at all? When we could have just kept everything at $20, take Call of Duty out, and then just keep everything the same with everybody enjoying the service in the first place and still calling it the best value in gaming. There would have been no need to step on a rake to go ahead and try and convince people to keep signing up for their services, even though the price increased by 50% and they were given features that nobody actually wanted. I mean, here's my deal about the entire thing. Go from $22.99 to $19.99 again, and then just remove the entire Fortnite Ubisoft garbage as well, and just keep the games that you guys sign on for third party and your first party games, and that is enough value, in my opinion, for a lot of people to even go back to Game Pass in the first place. Hell, Microsoft owns so many IPs right now, they could literally just turn right around and flood the entire service with all the old original Xbox games and 360 games, and even the old Activision Blizzard games as well, for those $20, and everybody would basically just be doing backflips at how good that is. True actual value. And then if there was someone that wanted to have stuff like the Ubisoft classics or the EA stuff as well, or even going around and adding the Fortnite packs, those could be added a la carte. And if they wanted to add it on there, they totally could and pay that monthly fee. But keeping the actual price of Game Pass at $20 would have been the ideal solution. Now this is a good win. It's not the best win, but it's a good step in the right direction. And I feel like Asha Sharma knocking it down to $22.99 is a good first half step for people to go ahead and look at Xbox and say, ooh, wait a minute, they're making some moves, and it might be the right ones. But there's more to this from the article by Windows Central, so let's check it out and go from there. With the article saying this: the Xbox Game Pass business model has hit its limits, and those limits are defined by Call of Duty. Last year, Xbox Game Pass got a wildly unpopular 50% price hike. Although not officially so, the cause was largely attributed to Call of Duty's day one inclusion in the service. Call of Duty is a huge franchise and a similarly huge budget. The entire game's business model revolves around its massive retail sales operation. In Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, subscribers get access to all Xbox-owned games on a day one basis. That included Call of Duty over the past couple of years. However, it seems that Call of Duty itself was simply too big for Xbox Game Pass's business model, and simultaneously, Xbox Game Pass was too small to offset Call of Duty's inclusion. In a blog post on Xbox Wire, Microsoft announced that Xbox Game Pass Ultimate will no longer receive this year's Call of Duty. Previous games, including last year's Black Ops 7, will remain. In exchange, Microsoft is lowering the price of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate from $29.99 to $22.99, and PC Game Pass will also see a drop from $16.49 to $13.99 a month. Now look, even though that is a big win, I'm going to be honest, the real winner has to be PC Game Pass, getting so incredibly close to what it used to cost in the first place. $13.99 a month, in my opinion, is exactly where Game Pass should effectively be. Maybe at the worst case, $14.99 a month, and I'm talking about for the ultimate tier overall. If you really wanted to bring back value, that's what the pricing should be across the board with just that one specific tier. Here's Game Pass, $15 a month, every device, every platform. That's what it's going to have to be. And there's a reason why I bring up PC Game Pass. When Project Helix comes out, are they going to charge you for online services? They better not. That's the first thing I'm going to say, because if you've got a console PC hybrid and I can play games on Steam and I can access the internet, why the hell would I pay for online? So effectively, I should also get a price reduction on that too. And the best middle ground would be that $15 a month across the entire platform. You do $15 a month for Ultimate, take out Call of Duty Day 1, then you do $9 a month for Essential, and that's basically it. The thing is though, in my opinion, this is nothing more than a good first start of what Asha Sharma is trying to do with Xbox. Reducing the price from $30 a month down to $23 a month is a good start, a $7 savings every single month. It's not where it needs to be in my personal opinion, but again, it's a good first half step. And the thing is, sacrificing Call of Duty really is going to be the best way for it. Because if you do the math, if you save those $7 a month for an entire year, you get basically $84 back. You can use that $84 to buy COD if you wanted to. With all this happening though, my real question again is this: what was Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond even doing? Why weren't these things brought up in the first place? Why wasn't there a fight being had to make sure that these kind of concessions could in fact be made at all? And why did it take someone like Asha Sharma to come in from the outside to finally get something like this done? Having a price drop in 2026 is an absolutely crazy thing to see, while we're watching every other major company increase the price of their consoles, their services, and everything else across the board while offering you less over time. Now, I'll be honest about this. Would I have liked to see Call of Duty be kept inside of Game Pass? Absolutely. Would I have liked Game Pass to be back at the $19.99 tier? 100%. But the thing is, in this economy, in this day and age, you got to get your W when you can get it. You know what I'm saying? And if the way that Xbox can catch a quick W is by lowering the price and sacrificing Call of Duty, then that could be a good thing overall. The other thing this brings up to me though is this: if they're willing to sacrifice Call of Duty, what other game are they willing to sacrifice as well? Now, I'm not saying they will do this, but there is a high potential probability now that ever since the gate has been open, that they are going to remove specific games from Game Pass. Who's to say they won't stop with other games as well? Will games like Elder Scrolls not be in Game Pass Ultimate now because they may feel like they might get more sales out of it? What about Gears E-Day? What about Forza Horizon 6? All of these games that Xbox is making on their own, which of course they do own because they also own Call of Duty, are now going to effectively be questioned whether or not they will be in Game Pass. So this leads back to the original point that I was making earlier about that communications manager that Asha Sharma had a position being filled for. They have to communicate these things incredibly clearly and concisely. Is it only going to stop at Call of Duty, or are they going to pick and choose other games that are bigger blockbusters to remove from that service, make you buy them day one, and either lower the Game Pass price again, or keep it at the same $22.99 and still pick and choose what games go in and which ones come out? If they do that option, it's really not going to be a win at all. But again, it's all about the proper communication and whether or not the user who's paying for this service actually sees value in what's being offered. With the article saying this: Xbox Game Pass was previously described as, quote, the best deal in gaming by many, but since the price hike, Microsoft socials are perpetually flooded with people asking for the price to be lowered. Incoming Xbox CEO Asha Sharma has effectively said, "We hear you here." To that end, Microsoft sources tell Windows Central that the longer-term goal for Xbox Game Pass is to make it more flexible, a sort of pick-your-own-plan formula for Game Passes on the cards, essentially where users can effectively decide what packages of content they want to see as part of their plan. Microsoft has leaked Duet and Triton codenames for Xbox Game Pass via its back-end APIs recently, suggesting that packages of services are in the plan's future. Don't want Xbox Cloud Gaming? Remove it and lower the price. No need for Fortnite Crew? Ditch it and add day one Xbox games. Perhaps you can roll in World of Warcraft or Minecraft Realm subscriptions instead, or even other benefits like Netflix per rumors or the long-awaited Xbox Game Pass family plan. Now, that last bit is exactly what I think Microsoft should in fact do. Basically, a pick-your-own plan. Have a base price of what Game Pass should be, and then whatever else you want to add onto it, you would then have your own monthly sub fee on how you want things to progress and the kind of content you want to have as well. Seeing as how Xbox owns a ton of IPs and everything else in between, just raising the price continuously and offering everything is no actual value. But letting customers pick and choose what kind of plan to have and what extra items to add onto their cart would actually be more beneficial and a more pro-consumer move overall, especially if the base price of Game Pass is low and affordable, and that could be a big ticket win for a lot of users. Personally, though, I think this move is in fact the right thing to do so far, but I feel like it's not a big enough step just yet. It's a good, let me keep my ear to the ground kind of thing and think about what Xbox is going to be doing in the future, but it's also a little bit hesitant, like I said before. The price is still, in my opinion, a bit too high. It should be back down to the $20 price point, and PC Game Pass looks pretty good for its price, and if you really want to make the argument, that PC Game Pass price of $13.99 should be what Game Pass Ultimate should cost across the board. Because why are PC gamers getting a cheaper price but the same services, while console players have to spend even more money as well? But for me, the real interesting thing about all of this isn't just the fact that Microsoft did something crazy like reduce the price, it's that people on the internet are having pretty mixed opinions about the whole thing too. And that is where the real fun begins. Mr. Matty Plays on Twitter said this: "Very good to see this kind of progress so quickly. Curious what next steps will be. First party only tier? Gotta be careful of doing too many tiers. Also wondering about long-term financial impact on COD, and if this shifts how Xbox thinks about other first party titles." I think Maddie is totally right on this one. Yeah, people definitely are picking up their ears a bit more, and seeing a price decrease is putting the right kind of light onto Xbox so far. The thing is, though, they have to keep this streak going. So far, Asha Sharma has been knocking it out of the park, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Project Helix and its rumored price point of being incredibly expensive, like $1,000 expensive. Cromwell on Twitter said this: "It's a good thing creatively for the COD team and the game's quality to know that people are gonna buy it. Nice to see Xbox team follow the Sony model of putting a game on a sub after the peak sales windows." Look, I'm gonna be honest about this one. This confused me quite a bit. Let's be real, Cromwell. I loved Baldur's Gate 3. I love the work you guys did on that game. But Call of Duty hasn't been able to have any quality or like really good setup for quite a long time. I'm just going to be honest about this whole thing. Removing the game from Game Pass, I don't think is going to be impacting how good the game in fact is, or whether or not the studios are going to be excited that they're going to have people buy their game now, even though that game basically just sells copies just on its name alone. And let's be honest, they were also the same people that said Call of Duty is too big to fail, and it did. And it wasn't Game Pass's fault that it failed in the first place. It was pretty much them sitting on their hands and doing nothing the entire time and then giving each other a stranger with their hands that they were sitting on. Look that one up. It's a whole world opened up to you right now. Trust me. Here's Daniel Camillo saying this: "Classic price anchoring tactics. Increase by a lot, then soon after reduce a little, while still keeping the price higher than what it used to be. And the consumer is supposed to feel grateful? Side-eye emoji. This is insulting. It won't change anything. Too little, too late." All right, that's it. That's enough. I just don't understand this whatsoever. For some reason, Xbox is the one company that can't do anything by anybody's standards. And Daniel here makes no sense whatsoever. Why would they 6 months ago have the actual CEO and Sarah Bond go around and increase the price by 50%, then 6 months later have the CEO retire, fire Sarah Bond, hire somebody else outside of gaming, bring them into the mix, and then lower the price by $7, and the first thing you think of is, oh, it can't be the new CEO doing something, it's price anchoring. They did this maliciously on purpose 6 months ago. Yeah, that's right. They went ahead and lost tons of money, subscribers, and everything else because they jacked the price up by 50%, and now they're lowering it because it's price anchoring. Price anchoring isn't done after 6 months and losing tons of sales and everything else. Price anchoring is done at the point of the sale. You say a really insane price of what you normally would charge without any discounts. Then you apply the discount and then you say, hey, we've anchored the higher price in your mind, but I'm giving you this lower price instead right now. So buy it now and then you'll feel better about it. Not wait 6 months, have an entire panic attack, lose a ton of money and subscribers, and then lower the price. That's not how that works. But I think what's crazy is all the right moves that Asha Sharma is in fact making for the users specifically. And I think that's going to be the big thing that people are not taking away from this. Asha Sharma in just 4 months walked in and completely changed the entire game of what Xbox has been doing and is already working towards making a better perception of what Xbox is, not only in the media, but also online and in the right decisions overall for the customer and consumer. Like I said before, if Xbox can just simply take pages out of Valve's playbook and just say, hey, we're going to focus on our customers, we're going to focus on our users, and that will bring more people onto the platform, then it's exactly what they should be doing. Better refund policies, better strategies overall, a better user interface, better backend support, everything across the board that makes the user experience better to play more games, have more access, and even go through and have a cheaper entry point would be the ideal situation for Xbox, period, point blank, hands down. It looks like Asha Sharma is able to do the one thing that Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond were never able to do, and that is bring people to the table and actually broker proper deals between not only the bean counters at Xbox, but also the users and the fan base as well, finding good middle grounds between the both and providing a clear lane forward to potentially even making the brand of Xbox something people want to get excited about again. And that could be a good thing for everyone because it brings competition back to the space. But you know what? I want to hear what you guys got to say about this in the comment section down below. Is this price decrease enough for you to sign back up? Did you want COD to still be inside of Game Pass? Or do you think the price should still be lower? I want to hear what you've got to say. And speaking about what you got to say, here's the comment of the day from yesterday's video, with Stacy TR saying, this is why retro is running wild. The PS3 is better than the PS5. Stacy, I think if you got the fat original PS3 that was backwards compatible with the PS2 and PS1, you would absolutely have a point with that. Personally, though, I think the PlayStation 2 is the best PlayStation ever made. But as always, if you want to see more of this kind of content, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, fanboy content, as well as live streams, subscribe to the channel. If you want Discord access or emotes during those live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. Look, if you don't want to spend the buck, don't sweat it. Just come on down to the stream Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, live right here on the channel as I wear a banana suit and get insulted with text-to-speech. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Chat runs the entire show. Live Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, right here on the channel. Literally, Sábado Gigante. Oh, and if you want even more of me, check out Oh No It's Alex Gaming. Link to the channel is in the description down below. Videos go up every Monday and potentially we'll be live streaming there daily as well. Definitely check it out. With all that being said though, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!